Happy Friday, everyone. It is day 4 of the From Logic to Living challenge, 21 days to come back to yourself. And today we are going to talk about that you can't think your way to fulfillment. You can't think your way to a life that feels good. Well, now why is that? And why is that something we need to talk about? Many of us, we are in our head all the time. And what we are taught is that the only way to solve a problem is to use your mind, to use logic, to use your head. And this is how we live life. And we think that the more we think, the the better the outcome. That's the only source of intelligence that most of us know. And we get stuck in it. And some of us, yesterday we talked about over-functioning and over-functioning numbness. And it's exactly that. We are stuck in the head. We just think, we cut off our feelings, we cut off our emotions to function even more. And then we wonder why we're not feeling happy or why we're not feeling fulfilled. And this is a way of control, right? It's a way where we think if we are in our head, if we're planning, if we're analyzing, if we're strategizing, we can control life. And we feel safe in it. Because again, this is what we're used to, this is what we're taught, and this is where we feel safe because we have an illusion of control. But we ignore a very important part. We ignore that, or we completely miss that emotions are not happening in the mind. And we completely forget this whole other thing that we have, which is our body. So this intelligence that lives in our body, and also emotions are created when we feel, but then we don't give us time to feel, and then we wonder why we're not feeling happy or why we're not feeling fulfilled. And a lot of us don't really know how to relate to our feelings. We don't really know how to feel them. We don't know how to connect with them. Maybe it doesn't even feel safe, because if we feel what we call negative emotions, then this might even impact our high level of functioning. So we don't want to take time to feel it. We just push it away and we move through. And actually, this is pretty interesting, because I've been also noticing this particularly in me right now, where this way of going into the mind, shifting into productivity, into functioning, because this gives us the illusion of control, and this makes us feel safe. So I announced my AI career last week. I completely ended all my AI projects to fully step into my work as spiritual mentor and coach. So I'm building up a new business from scratch. I'm building up completely this life area of work. And now that I've ended all the other things, and even though, like I shared before, I have, some reserves stacked up, I'm not really relying on any income from that right now, but there is still this part of me that now feels unsafe, that feels like, oh, where's the money coming from? Oh, I want this to work right now. So basically, there is this irrational pressure that is building up, where I would like to see immediate results. Partially because this is what I'm used to. I was employed for also a long time, and freelance is kind of similar. You do something, you get an instant reward, you get instant pay for it. And now building a business is different, right? You start building, and then eventually you see a return, hopefully. But my mind is like, oh, I want this to work right now. I want to have security. I want to be certain that this works. I want to know that this works. And then what I do is I'm observing how I'm falling into this trap of thinking the solution is doing more, finding more strategies, writing the perfect hook, doing the perfect this, and just. And I've been noticing also, like during my morning practice, so I practice Kundalini yoga every day. And this morning I was doing a bit of an extended practice, and I could feel my mind kicking in, like, oh, you gotta get going, right? I mean, what are you doing here? Don't just sit around and do nothing. You have to, start your day, get your to-do list done. And there is this illusion of control, right? That if I do more, I can control more. And it's not necessarily the case. So I want you to examine your life and look at, where do you fall into this pattern where you feel like, okay, if I do more, I can control. And I'm not saying that, you need to take action and you need to do something, but if it goes, even if you work 24 hours a day, there is still things you can control. And then also, it's what I always say, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? So if you burn yourself out within, the first year of building your business, you're also not going to get that far. And also, I believe in energy, right? And when we have this, just think about, if you meet a person, you can feel their vibe, you can feel their emotions, you can feel what they're, sending out. And if I'm in this exhausted, drained, stressed energy, then of course I'm not magnetic. I'm not really, people are not that much pulled to me. I rather repulse people. So I think we often underestimate what well-being and energy can do for performance or the kind of outcome we want to achieve. Yeah, so I can really witness this in myself, where I fall into this trap of then over-functioning, trying to do more so that I feel safe and I get more this illusion of control. So I really want to encourage you to look at your life if you can see this for you too. Yeah, maybe there's certain things you want and you feel like if you just overdo it, it's more likely that you get it. And that's why you then go beyond your boundaries and what actually is good for you, and you exhaust and drain yourself. Okay, now coming back to the body. So we need to reconnect to our body. We need to reconnect to our feelings in order to create a life that feels good. Because in the end, what we want is we want to feel good. And we cannot feel something if we just think and if we're in our head all the time. And for this, reconnecting to the body, coming into the present moment through movement, breath, and sound, or any other modality that you have is very powerful. And also, the body is an important part, because your nervous system, and we basically work with the nervous system when we do these practices, like be it yoga, be it meditation, sound, we work with the nervous system. And the nervous system is your control center of the body. So this is basically the part of your body that controls how you feel. If your nervous system is, activated and tense, and then you feel stressed. If your nervous system is relaxed and you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, you feel calm and at peace. And that is why breath and movement and working with the body are so powerful, because that is a way that we can directly impact the nervous system. And we can shift from, maybe a tense state or an activated state into a more relaxed and calm state. And thereby we can actually complete the stress cycle. So stress itself is not the problem. The problem is only if you are constantly in stress, if your nervous system is constantly activated, if you're constantly in the sympathetic part of your nervous system. So that part of the nervous system that activates your body. Completing the stress cycle just means that you shift back into a more in the parasympathetic part, the also called rest and digest part. Yeah, not the parasympathetic. The activating part is the fight, flight, or freeze state. Yeah, you might have heard that. And that's okay that we spend part of our day in there, but you also need to complete the stress cycle and come back into balance, into that yin part, into the relaxation part. And this is so easy to do if we work with the body. The mind alone doesn't get us there. And your nervous system is really, it's basically running the show of your life. So that is why it is so powerful if you learn to work with your nervous system and your body. And when I started to work with these tools, it was so much easier also for me to shift mindset things. So for example, I became a lot more confident just by working with my nervous system, because I became calmer, I became more relaxed. Things didn't stress me as much. Also, when I had a phase where I did some public speaking, like going on stage, speaking in front of a larger audience was so much easier after I used these tools, because I could really calm my body, my nervous system down, and I could be on stage with a lot less stage fright. And also just in general, right? Also in work environments. So for example, I still remember when there were times when I was scared of speaking up in meetings, and then just working with these tools, I can control this fear. I can bring my body back into a calm and relaxed state, and then it's so much easier to do the things that you want to do from that kind of state. Also, I 100% would not have been self-employed, would not build my own business right now if it wasn't for these tools, if I hadn't learned to work with my nervous system. Because what happens often subconsciously is that we feel unsafe all the time, because this is just how we grow up, how a lot of people around us are, right? We always have this activated nervous system. There's always people are in high anxiety, high stress, high fear, and our nervous systems, they adapt to each other. So if you hang out with people who are in these emotions, it's contagious. We regulate each other. On the other hand, if you hang out with people who are regulated and calm, that also helps. Okay, and only when we're regulated and calm, we can actually reconnect to our desires. And we can really learn what is it that is fulfilling us. And for that, I created a mini series, Reconnect and Realign. So it's a 3-session series where we work with Kundalini Yoga, the conscious breathing, and also sound, crystal bowl sound. So it is 3 sessions designed to reconnect to yourself, work with your nervous system, and then be able to hear your desires again. It's all online. We start, I think, on the 20th of April, but check that again. It will be online 6 p.m. on Mondays. I will put the link in the description of the video. If that is something that is interesting for you, go check it out, and I would be happy to see you there. Okay, one more thing I wanted to say, because yesterday I was on a Women in Tech event, and it was a lot of women, probably mid-20s, beginning of their 30s, so a bit younger. And it was an event about personal branding, and I totally understand it. I totally started out that way too. I was completely unaware how important visibility is, and I also totally underestimated the power of building your own brand. And I thought if I just do good work, I would get ahead. And it is so important that we have these discussions. But also what really made me sad is to see how we are all conditioned on fitting into a box, fitting into a box, you know, not standing out. I mean, there were women who were then, you know, scared that they would post something on LinkedIn that maybe in, one woman even said 10 years, someone would not be willing to hire them because they post something on LinkedIn. And we also had a discussion about, you know, what are the challenges that women in tech face when they want to advance in the career ladder, because there were actually a couple of men, and one man said that it's actually quite easy for women because companies want to hire more women in tech. Then I also said, okay, one thing is hiring, but then the other thing is, you know, once you get hired, do you actually get the possibility to get promoted and advance in your career? And I mean, I was just sharing openly what I've seen, right? I've seen brilliant women in tech not being promoted, whereas, you know, whereas the guys or the men who were like fairly okay got promoted. Yeah, and it is not just about performance, and women often don't know that. And I openly spoke about that. And then after that, after the official part, during the networking part, a woman came up to me and said, wow, I could really tell that you're not holding back anything, and wow, that is so inspiring. Maybe one day when I have financial security, I can also speak up. And I mean, I totally understand that it's scary, and especially if you're young and you're new in the professional world and you're just starting your career and you need to adjust. But honestly, I just want women and basically every person on this planet to find their voice and speak their truth and not hold back, not try to fit in a box, not live to other people's expectations, and also, like, the questions I got from the young women is always this: what do you think employers will want? What do you think I should do to position myself optimally in the market? And yes, I can understand that. That's also how I used to think to a certain extent. But at the same time, I also just want to encourage everyone to ask themselves, what do you want? What do you want to do? Where is your passion, right? What are you passionate about? Because you're also going to be so much more successful with things that you're passionate about. And I mean, I was super interested in AI and at some point, and especially natural language processing. So that is also the area that I had specialized in. I was very into that for some time. So I think the key is really, yes, okay, look a bit. I mean, I understand there's a sweet spot, you know, between what you get paid for and what you're passionate about, but don't just look to the one side, right? Really look into that sweet spot and come also back to the wisdom inside of you and build that self-trust that you can adapt to things. Because this other thing was like women asking me, oh, what do you think with AI? What are the secure jobs and everything? I was like, honestly, no one can predict that. But I think, especially in this day and age where information is so cheap and you can get any kind of information online or through AI, the important thing is that you can learn fast, that you can adapt fast, and that you have a certain level of self-trust that you can handle new situations, new tasks, and reinvent yourself also to a certain extent. Because this narrative of you pick one profession and then you do it for 30 years, that is over. And honestly, I'm happy about it. Like, I would be so fucking bored if I had to do the same thing for 30 years. Like, that's not for me. And it was really cool. I met another woman. So I was telling her, like, I'm moving out of tech. I'm going into something more creative, building my own online business and spiritual mentoring and coaching. And then she said, oh, that's interesting. I'm going the opposite way. I'm coming from music. I've been playing music, teaching music, and I'm now going into tech. And I think, yeah, you know, it's not about only the thing you do. Like for me, it's also, I want variety. I want to do new things. I want to grow and evolve. And I think this is coming back to security and safety again, right? Where people are so stuck in this security and safety narrative, which now is also falling apart because of AI. So let's look on the bright side and let's try to, you know, learn and grow and evolve and just be sure that whatever situation comes, we will be able to pick up new skills, we will be able to reinvent ourselves, and we will, you know, create value in wherever situation will be. And this comes back to mindset, confidence, working with your nervous system, not getting lost in this fear narrative out there, and not getting lost in this too much, what do other people expect from me, but coming back to your wisdom, your intelligence within your body, your soul. And we have been so over-focused on the intelligence of the mind. We've completely forgotten all these other intelligences. I don't know if that's a word. Yeah. So, how often are you in your head? And can you try to come back into your body more and leverage that kind of intelligence? Okay, that was a lot for today. I would love to hear in the comments what resonated, what you're taking away from this. Tomorrow, I'm going to be going live for our next part of this challenge. This is going to be a challenge for me because I'm going to Laura Marlina Seiler's event in Munich, Happy, Holy, Confident, 10 years. And I'm going to be taking a train tomorrow morning at 6:35. So I will go live somewhere, but yeah, don't expect me to be in a perfect setting. And maybe I'll keep it short. But I'm so looking forward. Yeah, like I shared yesterday, a big part of creating a new life is also feeling into a new reality. It's not just the head again. Yeah, it's not just about knowing what you want. It's also feeling. So coming back to the body again and feeling. And yeah, I think tomorrow will be a great day to feel into that new future for me. I will be sharing stories on my Instagram and also on Facebook. So if you want to see what's happening there, feel free to check my stories, and hope to see you back here tomorrow. Have a beautiful Friday. Bye.